I just realized I had my mic like way over there. I was gonna start talking, and I realized my mic was like way off screen. All right, what is this? This is just for anybody who might be joining this live stream or watching it like after the fact for the first time. If you guys are returning to the live stream, thank you for returning to it. And you're gonna hear noises in the background because my studio is like literally in our living room, so people live here and do things. My wife actually is in the background working on a kid's book, which is awesome. So it's like the illustrator life. We're just working crazy hours and stuff. So anyhow, if you're tuning in for the first time, just so you know, I am Joshua Kemble. I've been illustrator and graphic designer for over 15 years, and professional art director for about like more than 7, going on my 8th year. Actually, what's funny is it's April, and I believe that would mean that it's like year 8 of me being an art director professionally. And when I'm not doing that, I have this strange compulsion to work on these things called graphic novels that are comic books that are really long and really arduous and hard to take on, but I love them. And so I make graphic novels, and I have 2 that I have completed. The first that I want to mention is actually my second one to be published, which is Jacob's Apartment, which is a comic book about Jacob, who is dealing with reeling from the loss of his father, who's roommates with Sarah, who is basically struggling with the loss of a recent relationship. And so they're kind of both reeling from this. And as they're both trying to kind of figure out their lives, they're in their 20s, they're kind of young people trying to figure out their identity in their lives and pursuing their dreams. While they're doing that, they find common connection in their mutual love of literature, as well as they find a literal, both metaphorical and real connection of their dreams, where their dreams start interlocking. So if you're a fan of like slice of life stories, like Ghost World or Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, this book will be right up your alley. And if you like supporting indie comics and like what I'm doing, obviously you should order this, pre-order it. It's available in the previews catalog right now, but you can also get it. It comes out in June 2nd, but please go to your local bookstore and kind of recommend that. So that's the first plug and a little bit about who I am. And then also the second plug is 2 stories, which is my slice of life autobiographical graphic novel that talks about my journey dealing with depression, caregiving for somebody with panic disorder, and also talks about basically like life growing up as like a total nerd in the 90s, like early 90s, before late 80s, early 90s, before cosplaying was a thing, doing things like dressing as Indiana Jones at school for an entire year. So it's a pretty entertaining book. It's definitely not all ages. These are both books for like people 16 and older. But if you're interested in supporting indie comics, again, you can buy this right now on Amazon or at all fine, reputable independent bookstores. And I was working on book 2 during these streams until we got the finalized script for a book that I am collaborating with my sister on, called Not Death But Love. It's a story about Elizabeth Barrett Browning and Robert Browning, and the strange spiritualism that Elizabeth Barrett Browning got really interested in. And on the last stream, I was kind of like putting together research because it's a historical fiction book. And so what I'm learning is that historical fiction is pretty complicated. It took a couple hours. And what was cool was I got help from you guys in the chats as well in like finding some of that research and stuff. And then I disappeared for a second. Some stuff came up. So I thought it was going to be like 10-minute break and then get back on and start thumbnailing. But life sometimes gets complicated. So here I am like 4 hours later, or 5, actually more like 6 hours later, to get going on the thumbnails. So I'm really excited about this. I did get some clarification on a panel that when I reviewed the script, I had a misinterpretation of. And so now I have like a really clear idea of what this first page is going to look like. And I think I'm good to go for like thumbnailing page 1 and 2. But I really need to do this quickly. So that's the catch. But the reason I like to do kind of more refined thumbnails is I think it saves me a lot of work in the long run, because in this process, and if you watch the last stream, you'll notice that I compiled, like, I got a lot of useful resources. Now I have a really clear visual idea of where the location is. And so now we're going to get back into the script. So let's go ahead and pull up our stream thing. There it is. My goodness, I have no idea what that that other one was. But basically, we found all sorts of reference that I found all over the internet. So if you guys, it's your first time kind of watching this version of the stream and you're used to me working on like 2 stories, a little bit different. Right here is basically where I'm going to be doing thumbnails. And every once in a while, if I'm like looking up research or something like that, like I'm going to pull it up on screen. And what's neat about these streams is, like, hopefully you'll be able to research and look at this stuff with me, which is kind of exciting. Outside of that, I'm also going to be basically down here. There's the segment of the script that I'm going to be thumbnailing. So I think I'm in good shape. I'm a little intimidated because this is the first time in a while. I think back when we did the pitch was almost a year ago. So I'm not as familiar with drawing these characters, environments, or like the Victorian era. So I'm going to have to warm up a bit and probably fail a lot at it as I'm getting into this. And that's a vulnerable and weird thing to be doing while live streaming. But I think that it's beneficial. And what's cool is I think that the first stream, probably what would have been maybe 8 hours of research for me, was cut down to like 4. Just because of some helpful tips from you guys in the chats as well. So if you're joining along, I hope this is interesting. This is going to give you a little bit of the process of just constructing a graphic novel from a script, I think in a very like transparent way that I don't know if I've shown on my channel before. And again, we have this crazy goal of doing 234 pages, finished pages, in 365 days. So we'll see how this goes. But again, like I also want to say, if you want to support what I'm doing, support this book as it's going, definitely like pre-order my books, buy my books. And also I take super chats. So as I'm going, especially as I'm like getting into this and thumbnailing, unlike a lot of my streams, I'm not going to be able to have like guests on or like interact with them, but I am going to be able to read out stuff in the chats, and I'll try to interact as much as possible. But if you really particularly want to support the channel, throw me a super chat. And if also, more importantly, if you're noticing that I'm kind of like not paying a lot of attention to chat, which again, I'm going to really try to, but if you really have like an urgent thing that you want to highlight, or just something funny you want me to read, as long as it's like safe for work and not demeaning to other groups of people. I don't mind if it's demeaning to me. I'll read that out loud. But other than that, I'm pretty much committed to reading whatever super chat comes in. So that is all of that. That's all of the intro and stuff like that. And I think we're all pulled up and ready to rock. So I'm pretty excited about this. So this was like what we made on the last stream. I don't want to kind of reiterate or go through it. It's just we were compiling. I was just making layers on the sheet that I'm going to be doing thumbnails with, just of like reference, so that I know what I'm drawing. Because I think it's a good idea to have like a clearer picture of what you're working on before you get into it. So yeah, so that's basically what we're going to do. We're going to thumbnail this part of the script. So I've broken it down to, it seems like it's going to be 5 panels. It seems like the first one is this line that's like the sun dapples the bright blue waters of Babbacombe Bay. So this is going to be an overhead establishing shot. Next one's going to be Edward Bro Barrett, 30, brimming with optimism, sits at the helm of a small one-sailed Victorian leisure boat, which we ended up finding out on the last stream. We're going to do a racing boat that existed at the time, because of the fact that it's like a racing yacht. It could be manned by 4 people. I did speak to the author too and clarify that like we want to have it be 4, possibly 3 people. 2 people are mentioned in the script, but the weird thing about the Brownings is like, I think in the 20 years of research my sister's kind of done on this, a lot has changed. So like there's new information that comes out. So as we're going, like we found out, hey, we got 3, we thought it was 2. So we're going to try to kind of sneak in a third person. But anyhow, so second panel is going to be a close-up shot of Edward Bro Barrett, who's going to be a very handsome man, like of the Victorian era. We can't find any specific images of him. Panel 3 is going to be a zoomed out shot that's a little bit further out on the ship, and it's going to basically show 3 men of the same age, carefree disposition, kind of sitting across on the prow, enjoying the sea air. And then the 4th panel is going to be just like, it's a mystery. Like suddenly time has flashed forward and we have the boat that is underwater. So all you see sticking out is the mast of the boat. And so it's like still a calm sea. I'm going to try to make it clear that it's a little bit later in the day, and we'll kind of work that out as we thumbnail it. And then the 5th panel is going to be like gulls circling overhead. I think, or maybe it could be done in 4 panels. We'll kind of see what works best for like kind of breaking it down. So right now I got to figure out this establishing shot. It's probably going to have an overhead of the ship. We're going to kind of work that out in thumbnails. And again, these are thumbnails, so they're going to be really loose. It's about kind of figuring out the mood and the composition. So what I'm going to do right now is kind of get rid of all the excessive stuff. Here's a stormy sea. I think we may not actually need the stormy sea. Initially, I think I was misreading the script and thinking that like a wave would crash over it. And the thing that that got clarified from it is like nobody actually knows for sure like what downed the ship. By all accounts at the time, it sounds like the sea was completely calm, and yet for some reason the ship just like disappeared, and then a bunch of dead bodies, like the 3 of the 4 I think 3 or 4 dead bodies just washed up on the shore, one of them being Elizabeth Barrett Browning's brother. So it's really tragic, but it's also like a really mysterious thing. And I think that we're going to take the angle of like not making a call on what happened between, so that hopefully the reader will kind of feel similar to what Elizabeth felt, where it's like, I have no idea what happened to my brother. So there's that. So I decided this is going to be Edward's costume. That's going to be really helpful for that second one. But I'm going to take away all the ones that I don't need. So I'm a very slow artist, and I'm wondering if this method is kind of normal, because I have heard in the chats like earlier, there were a couple other people who've worked on like historical fiction stuff, and it sounds like the process I'm going through is pretty common. Like you kind of have to like compile a bunch of stuff, kind of chew on it. Some of it may not be relevant or helpful, and a lot of it is. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. So, okay, I'm going to kind of take this. This is very helpful. This is like Tokay Bay. That's relevant to the location. So for the establishing shot, I'm just going to move that down so I can kind of see it. I have a map that helps kind of know the location. So I'm going to kind of keep that nearby as well on my palette. I have a Victorian picture of Torquay, which I'm going to make much smaller, but at least that gives us an idea. Like, is this a repeat? This might be from the same book. These were all things we found on the last stream together mutually, which is really exciting. So then I have, and I think this is like, this is nerdy, but this can be an adventure. And I think that's how I'm going to try to view this. The crazy deadline, the seeming impossibility of the task. All of this can be an adventure. And also the research. It's like I'm trying to kind of lean into it and enjoy it, because this is going to be a long haul process. But it's also like, how often do you have the opportunity to like find out all this stuff about the Brownings. I think that's half of what appealed to me about the script too, is like, it's just really fascinating. I had no idea. And I definitely am not as knowledgeable about like the Brownings as my sister, who wrote it and wrote this excellent script. So it's like, this is a chance for me to really connect with the story as I'm going. That's a really long-winded way of saying things, but so hopefully this journey will be interesting to you guys. I'd love to hear in the chats or in the comments section whether these are interesting for you, because I can do a lot of this stuff off air as well. But it's like I figure, one, to kind of like promote the book. This will be interesting. Two, the publisher is super okay with this. They actually encouraged it. So they were like, yeah, transparency, doing social media as you're building it is not a bad call. It's as long as I'm not giving away like major plot stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's just a really cool thing in general. I do need to find a ship. I was going to mute out all the ships, but I think I do need to actually find a ship. So let's go back to these boats. Okay. I'm going to move these down below so they're not blocking my visible layers or whatever. Okay, so we have boats. That was not the boat. Wait, that was the boat from a distance. But that's the boat with the sail down. Kind of curious. Okay, those are going to be helpful later. We're just trying to find from our research on the last stream boats that are going to be helpful for this process. I think that's a really nice shot, but I almost want to see the top, not from there. I'm going to kind of look at what we have to work with. See, that's getting a little more towards the angle of like overhead. I'm seeing a sneak peek of what that's going to look like. Okay, I think we're good. Let's see if we have anything else. Okay, we got our seagulls. I got my boat reference. I think I need my 2 boat references. And we're going to highlight the page. Okay, we got our boats. Let's see if there's a better boat. I think we already went through all the boats. Okay, cool. Was this another? Yeah, okay. Okay. And I have my boat name that I think I can pull a little bit higher up here. Oh, that was not it. That was a nice reference, which is good to have. This is the downside of like a 10-minute break being longer. It's like you kind of get in the zone and you start organizing things, but it's like it takes a few minutes to kind of reorganize and re-get in that zone. Okay, so we kind of figured out where the Torquay thing is going to happen too. So at this point, I kind of want to do a little more organizing. I'm just excited about getting to the drawing part. It's just trying to get it all set up to where I can. Okay, we have our boat. I'm going to do boat stuff here. Doesn't need to be huge yet. Let's see. Got another boat here. That's good. That's going to be helpful for the mast panel too. I don't know how fascinating this is to other people, because again, I think if like if you're kind of starting out, you know, this might be fascinating. If you're somebody familiar with the process, you might be like, I do this at work all day. Do I want to watch this on stream? You know, but I don't know. You know, I think it's interesting. Like I might be interested in kind of having this on in the background if I were working. Okay, we got our map. Kind of moving, making some room here. Making some room. Okay, we got another idea. It's like the Torquay thing. We got our bigger Torquay. I'm going to move that here. Got to kind of get my paneling going. And we're going to kind of make this happen. So okay, we're getting a good viewpoint. This was my diagram, like that circle that you're seeing was my diagram of like where it would be. It's going to be from like that point far out in the sea. And I think that's actually probably my best image. This Tigan mouth. I don't think this is super important. Oh, maybe it is. This is another reference of the ocean side. I think this is a more kind of zoomed in image. Problem is I don't want my references getting so big that I can't draw, you know. Okay, the mood thing I don't need. That was cool to have though. The location thing, what's that? Okay, that can go. There's a straggler here. I think that's this. Nope. There. I feel like I kind of have that going. Let's see if this will be useful at all. No, it's not useful. Okay, let's get rid of that one. And I'm making like what I think artists call a mood board, right? That's kind of what we're doing. So let's see here. Ooh, that's really good. Man, but my mood board is starting to take over the whole board. Now, when you're working traditionally, what you would do is like print something like this out, you know, or have it next to your drawing board. But I'm trying to kind of do that digitally because we're in the future and I'm awesome like that. Okay, so what do we got? There's one more thing, and I'm not sure if we have everything accounted for because I feel like I just... Okay, that's Babbacombe Bay there. It's another Babbacombe Bay. Let's see where that can be. Ooh, I like that one. Ships out here, you know? Okay. I think we're pretty set. I just need to make these a little smaller, and then we can get to drawing. How long has this been so far? Okay, so we're like 24 minutes in, and we finally... That's about 4 hours and 24 minutes that I've spent so far in order to just get to the point of drawing. Okay, I'm going to shrink these down a little bit because I want that establishing shot. I think it needs to be like a half page at minimum, you know. Okay, and then the La Belle Sauvage, that's just for me to remember the ship name, but it doesn't hurt for me to just have that information out, ready to rock. And I'm going to put this here, shrink it down, and move it out of the way. Okay, so we're going to save this. Actually, you know what I'm going to do to make this simpler? I do want to make my map a little bit more over, so it's not overlapping too much. And I'm actually going to do the dreaded destructive edit of merging visible on those so that they're one nice solid thing that I can turn on and off. And we're just going to kind of center that, and then we're going to get into sketching. So before we get into sketching, I'm going to disappear for 2 seconds and have a vape. And then, because I know, like, I got to have a clear mind. And then I'm going to hit it with, also I'm out of coffee. So I got to refill my coffee. But if you're tuning in or if you're watching, rest assured I'll be right back. So, all right, I'll be right back. All right. Short little power break. That's how my mind works too. I'm like, if I'm gonna do something, I gotta be in. Okay, so we got our brush. I'm gonna put it as the brush. I want to actually use the brush, not the pencil, and the pencil tool. But I actually want to use one of those Kyle brushes. And I've been really enjoying just the Kyle pencils, and I got to find the right one. So this is the first time I've done thumbs in a while. I've been kind of in finished pages mode, but that's a pretty good brush. So we're going to kind of do that. Okay, just so you know what these guides are, that interior guide, that's my safe area. That's where my my panel borders are going to kind of go to. Oh, I also need to make sure I'm drawing on a new layer. I'm going to call this lines. Okay. This is just a thumbnail too, but it's a more kind of detailed thumbnail. This is a hard-learned process that I need to work on thumbnails as I go. Frank's joining in the chats. He said, "Hey, Josh." Hey, Frank. How you doing, buddy? What are you working on? This is definitely one of those scenarios where, like, I want to have other people on stream, but as I'm like thumbnailing like this, it's kind of like important for me to be in the zone, you know? So I can engage with chat, but I feel like Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, like having people on stream when I'm doing this process could like almost be counterintuitive. But I'm glad to interact on the chats and stuff. Frank said, I fell asleep on your last stream. I'm glad I put you to sleep. I don't know whether that's good or not. And then Frank said he's drawing a masked woman wallpaper. That is awesome. So right now I'm going to kind of just be loose. Let's see if that's as much of a percentage. Okay, I'm going to try to be thinking like, what's the most important thing? Let's reread it. The blue waters of Babbacombe Bay. So I'm going to look at like what those images are. Which one's Babbacombe Bay again? Why did I flatten it? Okay. I'm going to look at my references. I probably shouldn't have flattened it because I had everything nicely labeled, and now all my references aren't. I'm pretty sure Babbacombe Bay is like where he is right here. But let me cross-check that with the interwebs super quick. Yeah, okay, that is Babbacombe Bay. So Babbacombe Bay, it seems, where it happened is like sort of here. So that's what I'm going to kind of think. This is, I believe, part of this greater area here. So that's just giving like a taste of the whole thing. I had a like really clear perspective of it, but it seems like there's like a cliff side. So we're going to kind of do like, okay, I'm going to do some really rough shapes here. You know what? Also, just so I don't, well, no, we're good. I'm overthinking. Okay. Be loose, be free. It is a strange thing being a, oh, Frank further explained, I thought he was saying I was boring because he's like, I fell asleep. But no, Frank said, LOL, I was burned out a bit from earlier that day and needed to rest up. Yeah, I understand that. Man, burnout is a thing. You have to, as a creative, really watch that, you know? I'm going to have to be really careful about that too. Like, I think that when I'm done thumbnailing this page, I might need to take like one quick break from stream so that I can do a workout and then work a little later into the night. Because I need to be conditioning my body and my brain for this long marathon that I think is going to be pretty much like a test of my endurance. I saw this meme. Frank, you might laugh at this. So I'm, you know, it's no strange mystery that I'm a Christian, and like I don't politically agree with a lot of Christians, but I am a Christian, and because of that, like there's like this. Oh man, I want to draw like the thing, but I have to keep my thumbnail going. So because of that, it's like there's a we need like a sun too. It's got to be like, again, this is all going to start out like real loosey goosey. The other thing is like here, I think I was kind of drawing that bar for like that area, but we're not needing to do that. We need to do here. So it needs to be a little slimmer. Like this needs to come out and be a little thinner. Okay, so anyhow, there's this meme, and I think Frank, you'll get a kick out of this, where it's a drawing where it says like the journey that most Christians think God takes you on. So it's like has like a person. I am gonna sketch it real quick and then I'll get back to thumbnailing. So there's like a person, and then there's like a calling, right? And there's the believer or whatever. And then like here's the pathway, and then you're just like, bing, like I don't even know what to draw here. It's your reward. I think the meme was much more well done with that, and it's like what people think like the walk with God is like, right? And then it said the reality of the walk with God, and it was like this whole obstacle course where like the path kind of goes here, and you have like there's like fire here, and there's like all this stuff, but then like finally you get here, and that's like your reward. So anyhow, I thought it was funny. I think I might have just committed the sin of destroying a really good joke, but it had some truth to it. I kind of think all tests of our endurance are hard. Like it's not easy, but I think anything worthwhile is going to be hard. Now I could be delusional and maybe overly optimistic about that, but that's my little take. That's my hot take for the day, guys. All right, so the final is not going to have rays of light. I'm just trying to think of like a light source kind of scenario. So, okay. And then we're going to have some water, right? And I'm going to have the ship, but the ship I want to kind of have out here-ish. And we're going to kind of look at it. Okay. What direction would the ship be going? Is it coming to shore or is it heading away? I think to have it established, so I'm going to have panel 2 and 3 is going to be from the same perspective. I think it's going to be better if they're heading to the shore, like they're heading back rather than heading out. Because for one thing, that might kind of at least visually make sense of like the direction that I want to show the shot of her brother, Edward. So I'm going to have the ship go more this direction. It's not a giant ship. It's not the size of a continent. Let's see what the mast looks like. Or not, yeah, it is the mast. I had confusion about the mast because I'm a moron. For a second, I thought the mast was like the hull or something. I'm just bad with ship terminology. Which was why it was awesome on the last stream. Like Jake and some other people like chimed in with like their knowledge, and it was super helpful. So I'm thinking if you're heading that way. Okay, so this is another thing. Double check the boat. Okay, so the back of the ship is where okay, that's perfect. That's all I needed to know. Back of the ship is where the mast or whatever, the sail kind of goes. So we're going to start with just basic shapes. And we want it to be kind of like a very calm day. That's very important because it's kind of it was good to know because like the whole purpose of this is it's kind of strange. Like, why did the ship go down? Like, they don't actually know. So we're trying to kind of give you the mystery of that. Some people think it was a squall, but I guess that's kind of unconfirmed. Like they just actually do not know. No one at the time really knew. It's a mystery, you guys, an unsolved mystery. Okay, so we have this. We're gonna have our sail out. And then I need to know some details about the ship. What are some of the details? What does the thought I had a better picture that showed both sails. Am I just missing that? That was a cool one too. That was our original ship. Let's go back to the boats. There it is. That's what I needed. So let's kind of see what's going on with this. Go back to that lines page. And also save. It's a huge thing if you're working digitally. Like where I work as an art director, the hardest lesson that I see like every junior designer, right? I had to learn it as a junior designer. It's like when you're working in-house on deadline, you have to remember to be hitting Command S all the time, right? Because the last thing you need, like these things happen in workplaces too, where there's like power outages, your computer craps out. Can you imagine just the pressure that like, you know, a junior designer who feels out of place anyway? Because like, again, we all, you know, I've talked about this, like Corey's come on and talked about this like imposter syndrome that designers have. We all feel like, oh, we're frauds. You know, I think writers have it too. There's just like this inevitable, like someday they're all going to find out I'm a fake or whatever. Imagine you're like riddled with that because you haven't worked in house before. You know, so you're already intimidated, and then your computer craps out and you lose a file that's due, and there's an angry client. It's not a fun experience. So if you can, before being in that position, just hit Command S like all the time, and then you'll forget, like everybody. You know, you'll forget and then remind yourself later the hard way by being like, oh crap, I didn't hit save. I have it happen every once in a while. Even now, like over 15 years at it, I still have that occasional once in a blue moon day where I'm reminded like I didn't hit save and I just lost 20 hours of work. I'm exaggerating. I'm not that bad with it, but I definitely have had that time where I'm like 30 minutes into something, computer craps out, and I go, of course, the one time I didn't hit save, right? So anyhow, all right, now we get to the fun stuff where I'm gonna get this a little more worked out, and then we're gonna think about mood, because again, this is kind of a boring shot, and I think I can reframe it to where it's got more interest to it. But we also kind of want it to be like calm and boring. So we're going to get into this one way or another, you guys. We're going to kind of build this out. So I want to kind of first like start building out like what this environment looks like. And have like a little more delineation on the stuff. These are thumbnails, not finals. Nothing to be precious about. So we're doing this kind of cliffside thing. It's going to feel a bit closer than I had it before, which is good. Going to have like a little more differentiation. We're going to do some beach side here. Hold on. each side here. Get rid of some of that. We're going to kind of get, I do want some trees in the foreground. Happy trees, guys. Happy trees. Oh, Frank was commenting on my my drawing about the path, the easy path. Yeah, and I feel like I'm trying to think if there's ever been a time in my life where something good was easy. Like, have I ever played a video game that was just super easy and been like, yeah, this is my jam? Like, and if I have, like, was that like a real fulfilling experience? Because like even to this day, like I don't game a lot, but I still have. I recently got like a retro video game, right? Like an NES emulator, and I replayed and beat Final Fantasy, like 1, because I'm old. But like one of the reasons I have such fond memories of Final Fantasy is like that is a game you have to like really spend hours. The first time you play it, you know, when I was a kid on Nintendo, that was a game you had to dedicate so much time to, and it like especially when you get to like the final levels, it just seems totally impossible. Like there's bosses in that are like you're like, why did they make this game? It's just to annoy me, right? And then finally when you beat it, it's like this very cathartic thing, like so cathartic. Whoa, something happened there. Hold on. Stop glitching out. Stop glitching out. Thank you. A key got stuck or something there. Something happened that was so cathartic, right? That that like it left an impression on me that like lasted for a long time, where it felt like something to beat. Like it felt like I had accomplished something. So yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. Hot take. Good things in life don't always come easy. I'm only saying this to also like I try this like almost like self-encouragement stuff to try to kind of get in the right mindset to accomplish something really hard. So we're gonna have like the ocean very like calm. That's the key. That we don't want the ocean tumultuous. I thought originally when I was doing my roughs, I think doing my prep for the roughs was like that. We want the ocean to be really calm, not calm. We want the ocean to be kind of like just still and beautiful and not still like tumultuous and crazy, because the boat is going to capsize. But here's the catch. Frank also said happy little trees. But yeah, no, we don't. We want it to be totally calm. So it's like it really is going to be unsettling. It's going to be like, how did that capsize? How did that even happen? And it'll be clarified a little bit, but you're never really going to know why, because nobody does. Just like Elizabeth didn't get to know why. So that's kind of the feeling, the thinking that I think we're trying for here. Okay. I don't want these like kid-like. So this is a thing to kind of keep in mind. I'm gonna check if it says the time of day too on my scripts. So sun dapples the bright blue waters of Babbacombe Bay. Okay. We're getting there. So I'm going to try a little trick where we're going to do the whole thing. Does that look bright and blue? No. Okay, now we're going to do the reverse. And like the reason I'm kind of doing this is like we really want to, like what I want to establish on a rough is like what is my lighting? Like what is like the focal point here? I want this to be like almost like it's like I really want it almost like a spotlight. Like the sun is like being a spotlight on the ship. And I'm going to kind of clarify that a little bit. And that's when I know I'm done with my rough. Even though it's rough, it's not a final piece. It's like it's not going to feel finished till it has that. And then I also want to convey what she's talking about. Like the sun sparkles. We've all had that like moment where we're kind of like looking at the ocean and it's sparkling, right? So we're going to kind of render it out as much as needed to kind of work out that bit. Okay. I think that'll kind of work for just a rough. Okay. Again, I'm a slow artist, so my roughs. Do I want the sun to be here, or do I want it to be kind of more up here? Or do I want it to be more here? Because I feel like having it here just feels like lame. I also feel like if I'm going to do this, I need the rule of thirds here. So let's see, 1, 2, 3 for a good composition. So I need to lower this just a little bit. That's going to make it a little more effective. Okay. We're getting there. Sun. Where do I want the sun? Where is it going to look best? Ooh, I like that. We're going to do that. If that's inaccurate to where the location is, then it's inaccurate. But I think that's the better route because the obvious place is here. But I think putting it here is going to create like a nice visual pattern where you're kind of following this arc here. Oh, hang on. Where you're like following like an arc here. I don't know if you guys see what I'm talking about. And your whole point in making a comic is a Z pattern, right? Where you're like, you want people to read here, go here, ta-da. So this is going to set the stage where we also have like, we also have a little bit of that. Does that make sense? Okay. So speaking of that, actually, I want to kind of keep that in mind because I'm going to have probably like birds or something here just to like make more of that line apparent, that line of action. Does that make sense? Oh my gosh. I hope that makes sense. Let's see here. So Frank, how's your wallpaper coming along too? So now I'm going to pull up my seagulls. So like the thing is, you'll notice these aren't like as tight as they were going to get on the final, but it's like I have all the research to do the final too. So I'm pretty stoked about this actually. This process, this is encouraging to me. How long have we been going? An hour. Okay, maybe I'm not as stoked about it now. But I want to have birds. Where's my seagulls? There's my seagull silhouettes. We're going to have some seagulls land on my head. Not fun. Stop it now. Okay. Rocking and rolling. Down to the beach I'm strolling. I think I'm going to get, like, I hope that doesn't get a copyright strike there. That was an homage, a parody of a parody. Want to kind of have a little bit of this. Okay, let's get those seagulls out. Now let's get some mood here. I'm gonna get a little bit of gradients to the sky. Want to have a little bit of a darkening of the edges. And then I'm going to do a little bit of a, oh, let's get this here too. Okay. So we're toning it down so that I can make clear points of light. And this isn't a final, it's just a rough. But again, I like to think about my roughs, right? This is on a separate layer, by the way. It's a little trick. And it may not work. And that's the fun of art, is you kind of do these tricks. So I'm trying to create like a clear delineation of light. And I decided to kind of change up my light source a little bit. Originally, I was going to have it right here, but I like the idea of that pattern. I am also going to have it kind of start a little smaller. This is like a tone. It'll make sense in a second, guys. We're going to have this again as like the brightest point. I want this to be like maybe the second brightest point. And then I want the glittery ocean. So we're going to have like this be really bright. Do a little color study almost. We're almost like ocean's going to really, it's really bright here. It's almost like glaringly bright. And here, we're going to have like a more clear shadow. Now we're going to kind of get into that slippery sea. And we're just being loose and fun with it. We're going to have another glare here of light. And then I'm going to put this as multiply or screen. Let's see. Let's try. Maybe that wasn't so good. Nope. I'm going to go back to. Let's try. There we go. And I'm going to put the opacity down a little bit. We're just kind of establishing some light. Okay. I like that a little less. There we go. And then we're going to do that trick of lock this, make it white. Maybe put the saturation down a little bit. Why am I putting the saturation? I didn't want saturation. I wanted lightness down. So there we go. We've got like a rough first panel. We got through it together as a team because that's what we do. And I hope you guys are enjoying these. Let's see. I'm going to turn off the extras for a second. Okay, so another thing to keep in mind is that this is the right side of the page. So that extra side that you see on the right side, this is going to be a recto page, which is the right side. And so it's going to have an excess of bleed on that one edge that would be on the other edge of the spread. So the first page is going to be on your right recto, and then the next is going to be verso, recto, left, right, and so on. And I learned that from Kendra, my editor for Jacob's Apartment. I didn't know that there was like a Latin term for right and left in 15 years of working, and I should have. But it was cool. It was fun to work with like somebody who's worked with books long enough to know some terminology I didn't even know. But that was cool to know. Even though the fourth grader in me is like recto. That's funny. Okay, I do want to play with one thing because we're in the thumbnail stage. I'm wondering if I need to. Oh, I think Frank was just asking. He said, it's looking good if I do say myself. I have the Masked Woman line art where I like it. That reminds me. Are we not doing the Little Mermaid stream for a while? Probably not. Jimmy said, this is great. I've been meaning to do something similar to this and learn not to get obsessed with research. Yeah, this is going to be a real juggle, but I think we're going to get there. And hey, what's cool is we're going to learn together. How about that? You can practice with me. Like the next time I'm having to kind of research the page, help me out with research. And like I said, I think the people who have helped, I'm going to really try to remember to like give them shout outs and stuff when the book's published, because that is cool. So at least at minimum, I'll shout them out if I get interviewed about it or whatever. Let's see here. That's even stronger. Right? Because it's like, yeah. So the rule of thirds in a composition is like, an interesting composition is going to kind of have not things like that even. It's going to be like kind of split in thirds. And so if you have a large area of negative space, it should be like 1/3 or like 2/3 of the space for like an accurate and effective composition. If it's just like 50-50, it does what's called a figure foreground flip. And so you can actually use that to your advantage as a designer. Like if you want to do a figure foreground flip, you just perfectly balance. So okay, we're going to view extras again. You just perfectly balance it, right? Like if you had like a composition that's like just set dead in half, you can use that for an effect. But in general, if you want to make appealing compositions, you want to kind of do splitting them in thirds. And actually, I'm almost thinking maybe the ship, just for the sake of composition, should be moved lower, which I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's save first. Like I said, save often. And then, like, is that more interesting to have the ship down here? Because that's really reinforcing that Z, which I like. I can doctor that up so that it looks normal. So now I'm gonna ask you guys, what's more interesting, the ship here or the ship here? You know what? I might steal my wife for a second if I don't hear people in the chats. I might go get her because she's an illustrator, so she'll be able to tell me, hey, ship there. Okay, real quick. The ship up top or the ship down here to reinforce the Z? Like here or here? Like there or there?
Like it should be there.
Oh, you like it there?
It's too close to the edge here.
I agree it is. You're right. So more like here. So we're kind of creating like a whoop. Okay. I like it. Frank was asking, can I see that again? Okay, let's I'll just show you. Okay. So here or here? And my wife was here, and because she's a brilliant illustrator, she might have override over the chats. Oh, and Frank already said, never mind. Like, I think he could see. He's like, oh yeah, she's got it. Mai's got this. Thank you to my lovely wife. She really is amazing. And I say that in all sincerity. Okay, now we got to do eraser. And I want to have, let's see, let's do this. I'm going to kind of blur this out. This is just rough, but again, I'm a little meticulous. You're going to see me as I go, like loosen up a lot on these thumbnails. But again, like, I think when you have a clear vision of like placement, like that change took 2 seconds right now. Imagine on a finished piece, how long it takes to like move a ship across an ocean. Like, it's way easier when it's a, super light sketch, although the finals aren't going to be like crazy further than this. They're going to be a lot more considered. Mainly the line art is going to be a lot more considered. But so there we go. We've got our thumbnail. We know what we're doing. I'm going to save it. I'm going to disappear for 2 seconds, and then I'm going to get on to panel 2. You guys following this so far? Oh my gosh. Jim just hopped into the chats and said, keep my wife's name out your mouth. But he said he spelled it my, M-A-I, wife's name. I love it. I love it. All right. I'll be right back. I'm going to disappear for like 2 seconds, and then we're going to proceed on this. What's cool is I think we have the research we need for like 2 thumbnails. So I'm going to definitely get through those. And I'm probably going to be up like super late. So hopefully I get through more than 2 thumbnails. But the beauty of this is like the more that a scene takes place at one location, the less so the research is going to be crazy and time consuming every time there's a location change or there's character changes. But the second we're in a scene with like the same characters in the same location for a long period of time, it's like the initial investment on research is less. That's my sales strategy to myself on this. I'll be right back. And how's it going, Jim? What are you working on? And how soon can we expect to see Sugar Machine? I think there was like a little some info on Jim's Patreon, which everybody should be subscribed to. Okay, I'll be right back. And also, I take super chats. Just mentioning that. All right, I'll be right back. Now, because of my publisher, I'm wondering if I should indicate, like, do I have to indicate that the finals are going to have these swoobly boop, that's the official term, borders, or will they be able to visualize it? Because I feel like maybe I should just real quick indicate it, because no matter how good your publisher is, like, this is something I've learned, and I'm not bashing a publisher or non-creatives. It's just non-visual thinkers. Like, most people who are creative are visual thinkers. So weirdly enough, like, if you describe something in text, like, we can imagine it, visually. There are people who just can't do that. And so when you're working with a client, it's I think, like, right now, these are not just for me, they're also for them to be able to kind of get a visual picture. So should I just loosely put in an indication of what the final is going to look like? Because that's the quality of the final. Ooh, I just realized I'm not what I'm drawing in white. That, my goodness. Okay, whatever. That is the indication of what the final is going to look like. And the more I can get close to that, the easier it is going to be for them to say, yes, move ahead. And that really is kind of the purpose of the thumbnails, as well as for myself. So maybe I'm going to put these on like a different layer, and then try to remember, I'm going to just call these swirly pops. I know it's called filigree. I'm just being kind of a jackass here by calling it swirly bops because I can. I'm going to just go that extra mile. And the nice thing is I'm going to go that extra mile for about 10 of these, and then I'm going to realize that I have not got the time to do that. I think. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, you guys. Half the fun of these streams is going to be, can Josh retain his integrity and sanity during this process? So we're just going to do little indices that this is going to happen. So then I'm going to do my extra swirly bop, my extra swirly bop. Do you see what I'm saying? It's just giving them an indication of what the final is going to look like, because otherwise they might be like, what's with the filigree? And I'll be like, oh, like, that was part of the plan. They might be like, what do you mean part of the plan? Oh, and I forgot, I made a rule when I was coming up with these. Okay, hang on. The beauty of working digitally is you can just undo. The horror of working digitally is that you can just undo. Hot take. What's up? It was deep. Yeah, deep thoughts. But I will say, like, that is something I was surprised by, because when I was What's up? What happened? Oh, I think something happened, but I don't know. I'm not.
One of those ones where there's this turkeys walking down the street, and some cartoon added those little arms with little weapons and attacking the dog.
There's turkeys holding weapons attacking a dog. This is hilarious to me. Okay, that's what was being told to me. Yeah, that gives a way better, right? Like, and then we're going to do those little top parts. It's just giving them a better indication of like what the final is going to look like. Less surprises, the better. So it took me I know it's like weird, but it took me a long time to realize that, like, as a young artist, I think because of the way my brain worked, where it's like if somebody describes something and they're like, hey, I'm going to draw it like this, I could just visualize it. So I'd just be like, well, why can't I just describe it and then draw it, you know? But then like you realize like, no, nobody's like that. Like not nobody, like you guys are, like the people who are watching this probably are, but like, you know, you need to kind of accommodate non-creatives when you're working on creative projects. And I shouldn't say non-creatives, non-visual creatives, right? Because there's textual creatives and then there's visual creatives, and we're all special part of the rainbow. Okay, there's my swirly bops. Now I'm going to disappear for 2 seconds. I think I already disappeared, but I want to get in the zone for this next panel. First, let's get, what are we going to draw next? Edward Bro Barrett, 30, brimming with optimism, sits at the helm of a small, one-sailed Victorian leisure boat heading toward the coast of Devon. The nice thing about this is the coast of Devon is not going to really make a lot of sense in this picture, because I want it to be a shot showing him. So in the background, I should probably look at Devon just to see if I'm going to show any ocean in the background. What is Devon? So I got to remind myself, Devon coast. Okay. Got it. Okay, so what's funny is I'm glad I made the ship heading towards the coast. Initially, I thought that was a choice I could make because I forgot that it said it's heading toward the coast. So, hey, happy accident there. Happy trees, all that fun stuff. Okay. Now I'm going to find my references for that ship. I like this for his hat. I want him wearing that kind of hat. So I'm going to pull that and I'm going to put it up here. I like this for his costume, but the hat was kind of crappily drawn. So see what I'm saying? I also kind of like that guy's swagger, and I think I like his mustache too. I think that'll work. I will say this reference again. What is with that arm? I think people back in the Victorian days had dislocated arms. Okay. We're getting there. Okay, I made labels for a reason. I need to pay attention to them. I'm not sure what... Oh, those were seagulls. Okay. So we got our boat stuff. So now I need to think about the boat. It seems like that's kind of how you steer it, is like by sitting there. So I want to look at these steering pictures and see if that works. If I can find a really good angle. Because we found, like, we just lucked out. That doesn't always happen. Or it's like I just lucked out and found some incredible photos, you know? I like this because it shows the rigging. So I think I want to see the other boat stuff. But I think boat 12 is possibly a keeper. So remember that in chats because I'm really bad with numbers. I think boat 12 was like the best angle for that shot. At least somewhat. That's pretty good too, but I like boat 12 more. Boat 8, boat 5, pretty cool. Boat 3, for sale. Boats. By the way, is like my audio coming out okay? I just realized I wasn't even facing my mic. let me know, guys, in the chats if you're having trouble hearing me. I guess I'm blessed and cursed with a loud voice. Okay. But hopefully you guys didn't have any trouble hearing my... Yeah, boat 12 is the one. Frank said it, same thing. Reminder for Josh, boat 12 is a keeper. Okay, so we got boat 12. We're going to just throw it in there. Boat 12 is the one to go. Okay. Boat 12. Okay, I like that angle. It's going to be more cropped in, but it's like, it's going to give me some assistance. Now I really want to quickly sketch out like what I want my final page thing to be with like more of a traditional thumbnail. And I'm going to have that to the side too. But it's like the way I kind of envision this that I'm hoping will be fun is like, okay, so we got our first page here. Let's just do that. Our first page, right? It's going to be like that. I'm going to have panel 1 here. 1, establishing, right? Do-do-do. I think I like the idea of the kind of Edward shot being like a real big one. No. Edward shot should take up less space. It's going to be like a kind of here kind of scenario. It's going to be a here situation for these individuals. Okay, so this is going to be like he's steering the ship. His head. This is going to be more like a longer shot. Possibly like, actually, it might even be like him still on the left, keeping the line of action, and then like maybe his friends or whatever hanging out on the boat. Maybe we see some like something in the distance. Here is going to just be, I actually like the idea of here, maybe it's just the water and it's got like the tip of the mast. And maybe that can be like a splash that goes something like that with gulls circling. It should be overhead. Okay, well, we'll work out all the details of that later, but that's my little crappy thumb. My actual thumbs look like totally... when I say actual thumbs too, you guys are probably thinking these, but my actual thumbs, like the one I just sketched out, they're indecipherable. I used to get teased by my art teachers about that, where I'd be like, I can understand them. And it took me a long time, again, to realize like half the purpose of thumbs, like that thumb works great for me, but if I'm pitching to a client, I need thumbs that are more like the ones I'm drawing, which actually, honestly, I should be developing anyway because they help a lot more. So that's it. Frank also said my audio is good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that, Frank. Thank you. All right. So we're going to draw Mr. Browning in 2 seconds. Again, like it's 10:30, so I want to get the coffee flowing. So I'll be right back. Wait a second. I was about to leave, and then I realized like I don't want to forget this thought. I need to have Elizabeth here. There's Elizabeth. Why do I want that? Because I want to think Elizabeth a little bit when I'm drawing her brother. Like they're going to have some kind of family trait. And keep in mind, Elizabeth, we're going to beautify a little bit as well for the... Okay. So I'm going to kind of have that. The thing I'm gonna ask, this is a hard question. Who's steering the ship? Like, I think it's the... This is where I wish my knowledge of ships was better. So, like, between these two guys, like the one on the left and the one on the right, like, who's steering? I'm guessing it's the one on the right because he's holding that, like, rudder or whatever. And that's going to, you know, affect, like, which way the ship is going. So the front of the ship's going to be opposite of the guy who's steering the ship. But the angle he'd have to be at, this is me thinking it out. Yeah, okay. Okay. Be right back, guys. I'm going to think about that a little bit. If you guys have tips on that, let me know. And I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay. So I kind of like this pose of him here. I think I'm going to do... Wow, that's interesting. I might have to reverse it from that. I was so in love with boat 12, but now that I think about it, like, if he's steering the ship, right, and it's an intro shot, the way these ships steer is you're sitting at the back of the ship. I feel like I'm in second grade here. Because it's like, thinking about it, like, yeah, usually the steering mechanism of the ship is actually at the back. It's not going to be at the front. So it wouldn't make sense to have the introductory shot be behind the ship. I think that needs to be the secondary reveal. So boat 12 is great. I just have to throw 3 guys in that scene. Boat 1, like that top one on the left, that's kind of the angle, and it might be kind of fun to compose it slightly similar, so it's almost like a shout out to Manet. So we got like some deep cuts on page 1, which actually works, right? Because I mean, it's Victorian, and like the Victorian era is like Impressionism, Manet, Like, I think that's like Victorian. If I'm crazy on that, correct me, but that would be really cool. But I don't want to, I'm not going to recreate the Monet. I'm going to have him in the, I like that hat, but I want him to be the dude on the right, top right, more like the dude on the right. But I like that composition, and I like that idea of a shout out. So I just have to change the back of that ship to kind of better match ship 12. And all somebody would have to do to make me sound like a lunatic is clip this out of context. And I'll like just, you know, almost like have it, it's me just talking, but there's no art. I'm just sitting there talking about ship 12. People are like, what is boat 12 or ship 12? Okay. I'm going to call this thumb. I'm going to see, is there anything of value? I don't like working with like a million layers. But I think when, okay, was there anything of value on layer 3, or was that just a blind layer? Layer 3. I turn it on. Yeah, that was just a blank layer. Okay. There we go. Let's get these back. All right, let's get into it. So I like to think things out as I'm drawing them. Unlike most people. I'm just kidding. I think most of us do. But I do think it's important. I think sometimes people just start drawing and they don't think about what they're doing as they're doing it. And then they're like, why didn't this come out the way I want it? It's because you got to think it through. Okay, this is going to be panel 2. And I might merge that eventually, but for now we're going to call that panel 2. This is a middle panel, and I know that the way that I set it up, from what I recall, if I look at the style, the middle panel is never going to have the filigree. Like the filigree is just for the corners of the pages. So that's good to know. Okay. Let's do this. Panel 2. Let's get to drawing, ladies and gents. I'm going to kind of give myself, again, like a rough border. I want it to be kind of slimmer, so it's almost going to be like a thinned out Monet. And I want it to be like somewhat halfway. That might even be too tall. Cool. Get my little Victorian business on. Now I'm making the mistake because I shouldn't add those till the end, because that might just get erased. It's the thing. You don't want to be too precious with thumbnails. All right. Let's. I'm going to draw this on another layer just so I'm kind of working it through. I want to draw. Okay, I want to read it again too. What am I saying with his posture? Brimming with optimism. So his head should be high. Held high. And have like the nose. He's going to be brimming with optimism. That might be too high. Okay, we're going to do like a... Okay, whatever, we'll work it out. Okay, thinking it's going to have his, yeah, his head might be too high there. We're going to have him, what's going on? Arm. I'm going to make it a little more dynamic. I want it a little more dynamic. So his arm's almost going to be like that. Oh, wrong position. Radius and ulna. Okay, it's going to be more like this. There we go. I had a moment of an upside down arm, guys. I like the idea of like that being here. I also like making that line. And then we're going to do some ship stuff. That ship, it kind of has like a flat back. It's got like a little thing here. There's like a that guy. Okay. And I want it to be just a little bit out so we can kind of see that it's a ship. I like him kind of being a little more towards the there. Let's try like more of a we're gonna make it a bigger ship too. It's not like a little paddle boat. Okay. Okay, we're getting there. I want to look at we're going to look at somebody looking super confident up in the air. It's I don't even like this movie, but that is a Henry Cavill handsome dude. All right. That was real quickly thrown in there. So I'm going to have our gentleman is going to have a hat. So I'm going to kind of think, okay, I'm going to do that expression. Where's Cavill again? Where did I throw that in? Problem with sloppiness is you can't just throw something in without labeling it, dude. Okay, there we go. Oh. Forgot about Photoshop's new thing. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna have like more of that kind of thing. Okay. Is this making sense or just seeming absurd to you guys? All right. So now we're going to have our handsome gentleman going to be kind of looking confidently forward. I want him to have cool Mr. Mustache. But also, he's going to have that stern, confident look, right? Mustache. I want it to be kind of a rad mustache, too. But like more of a kind of smile. Let's see how that goes. We're going to draw the whole skull before we draw the head. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to just go with that hair. The chops. The chops are actually good too. The angle here is a little too close, so the ear should go back. Okay. Now we're going to have a brimmed hat that goes over it. I think it goes back more like that. We're going to have the rim of the hat kind of come over here. It's going to be a little taller. I want it to actually kind of sit on his head, so I want to draw it over his head. Oh my goodness. Let's do that again. Okay. I'm going to have that kind of sit over his head. It's going to have a top brim that's really tall. Okay, and then we're going to have our circular thing. Going to be like that. There we go. And it's going to be one of those. So it's going to have like a little bit of a thing here. It's at a more of an angle than the other one. I have it kind of do that. Again. And if he's facing the other direction, make sure the lighting's consistent. Ooh. See if I can see that. Light will be in front of him. That's perfect. Okay. So the light's going to be coming from the front. Have him kind of like here. Going to be very confidently going forward. I think his head needs to be more kind of proud, more separated from the body. So we're going to do that. Ooh. Put that on the wrong layer. Oh my goodness, I have to undo it. Where was I? Here we go. Okay. Where were the... Oh no, I did the light on the wrong layer too? What's going on, guys? Off my game. Okay. Let's not do lighting yet. We're going to just get the get the main stuff going. Okay, so we're gonna do, he's gonna have like his neck up like that. Where's Elizabeth? So Elizabeth has like a nose. That's interesting. She has a nose. So I think he's going to need a more kind of Elizabethish nose, not more like that, you know? And then also she has very huge eyes, by all accounts. They're kind of wide apart and they droop a little bit. But of course, we're going to beautify her a little bit. But I do think it might be good for him to have like a little bit of Elizabeth's eyes, like, but still like be like more masculine. And we want him to be really handsome because he's kind of like a hero to her in this story. So I'm going to do that. Draw that sequence so it's muscular. There we go. And now we're going to basically move this up. Oh no, did I draw that flat? Okay, I did flatten that somehow. So now we're going to I'm going to move this part up where it should be. We're going to fit it to the thing once we have it kind of worked out. The head should be a little smaller too. Cool. So we're going to have now like his arm is going to be like, okay, again, I also want this costume, the one on the top left. So we're going to kind of work with that. But first I'm going to get the figure worked out in his pose. So I do want him to like, he's going to have his big meaty arms or big shoulder here, kind of there. And then this shoulder is going to be more kind of there. Okay, cool. So we have that kind of more worked out, that arc. So now we're going to get that arm, but I want to foreshorten it a little bit and bring it to like be a little more dynamic. It's something I actually forget to do sometimes in comics, but I think it's really important to have like a strong point of view. And I think that's one of the cool things about comics is that you can kind of do like this. So it might be a matter of kind of working through that. But I want to have almost like forced perspective. So we're going to do like a, might make sense to have it be a little shorter. I'm probably thinking this pose out a little too much, you guys, but I'm kind of a perfectionist sometimes. So I want it to be a little more on point. Okay, then we have, we're going to have, what are we going to have here? I also want this to be like more black and white. So then we're going to have, what am I thinking here? Oh yeah, I'm going to do that pose still. So I want him to have like a confident like chest. I do want him to seem like a superhero, you know, because this is like her hero. It's her brother, and she's haunted by him not being there. I also think like, again, like I'm going to have like the arc of the back a little more like that. Okay, so we still have to adjust this pose a little bit. We're getting there, guys. Is this making sense? I don't know if this process makes any sense. It's just a thumbnail, but again, I want to have like an idea of how it's going to work out. So how long have I spent on this just a thumbnail? Oh, wow. About an hour. That's okay. I'll get looser as it goes. So I'm going to have this crazy meaty hand here. I'm going to have it actually work with reality for a little bit. This part is going to be more here because your hands, okay, got it. And then this is going to be like the hand that's, so his arm was going to be more back. I'm going to also tilt him a little bit once we have that worked out. So this is going to be on the back of the udder, that arm. That's going to be like that. And then we've got this worked out here. This goes to a thing that's like a little more like that. I love it. Okay. And I actually do like, so his posture is going to be kind of leaning back here, back of legs, right? But I do like the idea of like one leg being up. Man, I'm really tight today on my drawing. Like, I mean, not tight in a good way, not tight like I think there's some tension that I have deep down that I need to kind of loosen up and get confident and stop. Don't doubt, because I can definitely sense it when you're drawing and it's like you're not feeling it or you're feeling like unconfident. It's like really an interesting experience. And now that I think about it, I kind of remember that being an issue for about 2 out of 4 of my first thumbnails for quarterly too, when I was doing them on stream. And then after a while, it just kind of got like very comfortable. So we're getting there. So now we've got like, he's sort of at this, in this position. How's he sitting? That's what I need to figure out here. So this guy is sitting on this thing. Okay, I need to get rid of those extra lines. And then we're going to basically say, okay, so that guy is kind of leaning against. So he's like sort of on a thing. Oh my goodness. So that guy's on a thing that's like here. And I think it's got to be at this angle if he's going to be sitting on it. Although he's on the side. Okay, we're going to make it like this. If this is the center, then we're going to have this. Then we're going to have that part there. This is going to be kind of going down. If we're going from here to here, I hope this is, again, I kind of hope this is making sense. So then there's going to be some, got it. Okay. There's going to be like a line here that's like a string. There's going to be a line here that's a string, but that's going to be kind of coming at you. And then there's going to be ocean. And this is just open water. Like there's no... Okay. I have my blocking out done. I'm going to tilt it a little bit. That's one of my little tricks. Reduce it just a tad. I like the idea of having it. I don't want it to feel like it's dead center. So maybe the prow thing can be, yeah, there we go. Okay, so we're going to save that. I'm going to disappear for 2 seconds. Ooh, oh, did I just smack the mic? I hope that didn't make like a loud bang. If it did, I guess I woke you guys up. All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to disappear for a second, and we're going to kind of, at this point, at this point, I need to get rid of distractions on here. So I'm going to get rid of this guy, not this guy, that guy I want. I do need the boat, kind of. I do need the boat. I do need that. I don't need I don't need Cavill. I don't need this dude. I don't need her. I just need these two. And I want them a little closer. And I'm going to move him down so I can kind of check out his costume as I get into there. Okay. We're going to save. I think I got a message of some kind. So let me see what that is. Okay. What do we have? Oh, shouldn't have put that minimized. Got some kind of message. So I'm going to go check. What is that message? Nope. Thought I got a message. Oh, it's Frank. Okay, Frank sent me a pinup of Masked Woman. So I'll try to show that off in a second, Frank. Okay. Let me take a real quick break, and then we'll get into Frank. So we're getting there, guys. This is a slow but sure process for a slow but sure artist. The phone wallpaper. I'm excited. So I'm going to show that off in a second. So that's the hook. Stick around so you guys can see a sneak preview of Frank's, as long as Frank gives me the okay in the chats, of Frank's Masked Woman. And then I'm going to kind of get more into this as my hair gets more and more insane. All right, I'll be right back. All right, that was a insanely long break, and I know you guys have waited very patiently for it. I'm just kind of goofing around. Let me see what I can pull up here. Frank's, I got to kind of make sure that I can pull this up. Okay, perfect. I love it. Okay, I think we're ready, and boom, Masked Woman, sneak preview. And there's flickering on the screen. I have no idea why, but that's pretty cool. That is Frank's Masked Woman phone cover. And that's all you get. That's all you guys get. If you want to see more of that, you need to be following Salazar Art Nation on YouTube or chatting with the artist himself, Frank Salazar, in the chats, where he is my very beloved moderator. So there we go. That Frank, thank you for showing me that. And we're going to kind of get into this now. We're going to work this out much more detailed. So, okay. Oh, come on. There we go. I want to make sure his nose, and this is a rough, not a final, so I'm not going to get too crazy about it, but I do want to make sure it's like clear. Okay, here we go. Got that. We're just cleaning up the lines now. Can you imagine back in the animation days of just like having to take a bunch of rough lines like the ones I just drew and then make them make sense? Like I really like am impressed by the guys who did cleanup back in the day. Not like, luckily, like, you know, Oh my gosh, did I? Okay, here we go. Luckily, a lot of early animators were like way cleaner on their earlier stuff, but it's like, dude, just sounds like a rough job. Okay, so we're gonna make this guy more in line with Elizabeth. So I want him to have like a mustache. I want him to have like. Does she have big ears? Oh my gosh, now I gotta look. Oh, you can't see her ears. I don't think you can see her ears in anything because she had like that thing. So maybe the ears are a little less big. Okay. But I do think he should have kind of like wild unkempt hair. Because she had like really thick, like curly locks. So I would think he'd have like, but I want him to look like very handsome too. So maybe that's too much. Okay. So we're gonna do that. I also like. I didn't like that I gave him like my weak jaw, which is a weakness of mine. I've been drawing myself for a long time, so it's like hard to not fall into that category of like drawing yourself, you know. I do like the idea of him having kind of the bags a little bit, and then we're gonna do some lighting. Do 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 do. All right, sorry. Frank said thanks for sharing it, the Mask Woman thing, and that he'll share it. He'll have it on his Ko-Fi account pretty soon. I think I didn't work out the brim here properly, so we're gonna correct that. One downside of doing thumbnails a little tighter than I usually would is like I spend a little more time on it, but the upside is like I end up with a really clear vision of what I need, and what the final thing is going to be. So maybe it's insane, but it's like I think it's valuable to have like a rough idea before you get into this stuff. Okay, now we're going to add some clothes. I'm going to get the clothes going. I like that costume, so I'm going to have these, which are going to wrap around his neck, and they go really high, like the weird collars. So it's going to be like a little strange to try to work that out, but I'm going to give it a shot. Cool. Okay. Again, also need to loosen up. Loosen up. It's like an artist talking to themselves. Loosen up, dude. Then we're going to have our these, which go a little bit over the brim. I'm going to do, is it going to be open collar? Yeah, I think so. I have that. I don't like that his arm kind of looks dislocated, so we're going to kind of fix that a little bit. I like it being kind of back like that. So I do kind of want to retain that exaggeration, but make sure it's clear. Okay. We're going to have some folds that would just naturally happen, but they're not going to happen that high up. Then I'm going to have okay. Then we're going to have this arm more worked out. Would that be covering? Oh, okay. Here we go. I have our vest. Vest is going to be there. Gonna have this. He's gonna like a little bit of a kind of thing going here. And now we're just going to kind of draw it like as if we're seeing it. So okay, now I'm getting the looseness in. Okay. Should be more like down. There we go. No, I still feel so weird about this arm. Okay. Got it. Okay. I hope this is kind of helpful or making sense to you guys. Like some of this will adjust as we go, but it's just like it's an interesting like kind of exercise and like, you know, kind of making this stuff happen. Okay, now we're gonna have where's the foot resting? Got it. I like the foot out too because that just exudes a crap ton of confidence. Like, you know, yeah, I've got my foot out. Like I'm in control of this ship. You know, I think it's gonna have. This is gonna be more of a kind of heeled shoe, and it'll be cut off in a second. By a Liefeld trick. Okay. And then we're going to have, we're kind of like there. It's high-waisted, high waistcoat. It's going to be the interior under there. I am like way too tight here because really I need to be drawing with just like a solid, confident line. And it's going to take me a while to kind of get warmed up. Been a while. I've been so used to like finalizing that it's taken me a bit to get back in the rough stage of things. There's a lot of wood. Was Elizabeth not attractive? It's kind of a mixed bag. It's like I think obviously Robert Browning thought she was attractive. I think she was, but I think that the thing that I'm gonna have to like prettify a little bit is like to try to kind of make her look less like somebody just like because she had a really heavy opium addict. She was an opium addict and was awfully sick like during a good percentage of her life. So like most existing portraits of her, there's even a comment on that in the book because somebody does a port like all we have are like mostly portraits, like paintings, and not like photographs. And I think that like I said, there's even a joke within the book about that, like where, and actually it's documented in their letters where I think that a portrait artist had painted Elizabeth and she loved it, and Robert was just horrified. Like he thought that the portrait made her look, you know, like she was dying, and I think that scared him a little bit too because technically she may have very well been. And so I think I'm going to try to view her with a bit of idealism, but I'm still going to keep her, you know, as authentic to her as I can without like seeming like almost belittling to the memory, you know, of her. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that answer your question, Frank, or does that sound like a dodge? Frank said, "I'm happy with the wallpaper, and I'm gonna call it a night." That's good, Frank. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out and modding. So yeah, I'm gonna try to kind of get in there a little bit. And now we've got panel 2, ladies and gentlemen. Whew, that took a while. For like not the best drawing, but hey, we're getting there. That's what a rough is. I want to get in there and like correct it more, but I'm like, I gotta fight the urge. These are tight thumbnails, but they're not, you know, end of the line thumbnails. And if I'm starting to take these to total finish, then I've defeated the purpose of thumbnails, right? Oh, that shouldn't have been there. Whew. Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Have a good night, Frank. Sleep well. I'm going to disappear for 2 seconds, and then I'm back for round 2. So let's see here. Two things to check first. Appears. Okay. I got like 2 things to check. I thought I was going to see an interesting post. Everybody's doing this Wordle game. Have you guys noticed that? I haven't. I guess because I avoid games, I haven't done the Wordle thing, and that could just be crazy. Philip was saying, "How are you? Just hopping on now. It looks like something different tonight." Yeah. So there's a book called "Not Death but Love" that is the strange. Oh my goodness, I have to read through this until I memorize it because we're going to have to be pitching it. Okay. This is called Not Death But Love, the strange supernatural story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And it's written by my sister and created by both of us. And I am thumbnailing. I have to put 2 Stories Book 2 on a temporary hold because for this book, I'm going to have to do 232 pages in 365 days. So that's what I'm working on. And it's a really interesting project because I have to do a lot of historical research. So right now what I'm doing is doing tighter thumbnails. So I'm getting a lot of the research done that I need to do. I'm trying to block out what I'm going to have the final pages look like. I'm trying to do it in a finalized-ish way so that the publisher, has like a clear idea of what we're going for here. And it's a really big deal. It's a good opportunity. But I like what I have been doing on the last few streams is trying to get as much headway on 2 Stories Book 2 as I could. So I was like crunching and sleeping less just to try to get as far as I could before I have to put it on pause for this book. And so that's kind of what's going on. And it's a big project. It's funny, the last stream that I did earlier today, we were doing a lot of research for just this first thumbnail. And so hopefully as I'm doing this too, the process will speed up a little bit. And then we'll kind of go from there. All right. But we're on 2 panels of a 4-panel page. I thought it was going to be 5, but I think we're going to do it in 4. I think we can make it work. Okay. I'm going to disappear for 2 seconds, and then we're going to get on to the next panel, and we can pull our boats up again. And actually, I'm going to need to, okay, I'll come back because I'm going to do that angle of that skiff, or not the skiff, the racing yacht, which we ended up finding out was period accurate. So I'm going to do that exact angle, but I need 3, I'm going to have 3 people. Yeah, I'm just thinking out loud. And then I'm going to have to pull up like the different costumes we found for each one. But we're getting there. We're getting close. All right. I'll be back in about 20 seconds. Okay. We're back. Okay, we got our skiff. This is boat 12. I have to remember that, boat 12. How are you doing, Philip? What are you working on, by the way? I'm going to put boat 12 down here. I'm going to put Friends 2. That was one of the costumes, potentially. not the lady that's like terrified at the boldness of that gentleman. Okay, so I have friends 1, and that'll be enough. Actually, that's 4 dudes. So we have these somewhat period accurate costumes for what it seems like people at the time boated with. We have a period accurate boat as well. And so I think we're set for this last panel. So here we go. I'm going to sketch this out. But yeah, it's a big project. I'm excited about it. But welcome, Philip. I hope everything's going well for you, buddy. All right, so here we go. We're at like the 2-hour mark. So I'm hoping like once this thumbnail's done, I hope I can do this by 12 so I can work out. I need to work out. If I don't do that, I'm not going to have longevity. But this is going way later than I thought it would. Philip said, I'm okay, likely turning in soon. I had to work a bit late tonight. So I'm still doing sketches for the children's book I'm working on. That's awesome, dude. Well, welcome to the club of creating, and I hope you can do some sketches, man. Hopefully I can keep you company while you're doing your sketches. Okay, so I actually would love to see the kids' book, Philip, if you ever want to send it to me. I don't know if are we following each other on Facebook or anything like that? Because if so, you can message it to me. If not, add me on Facebook or something and then message me with if you want to share what you're working on. I don't know. Some people may not want to. There's that too. All right, so we're doing these kind of Victorian frames just so they can envision it. I know I'm going like probably a step too far on these thumbnails. But okay. So now I'm going to call this like a panel 3. I'm going to go ahead and flatten the swirly bops. I'm going to go ahead and merge this panel down. And I'm going to go ahead and merge panel 2 and panel 1 so that I'm consolidating my layers. Okay. So we're going to make the next. Philip said, sure thing. It's a lot of really rough sketches at the moment, and I'm working on a concrete designs, but I'll look for you on Facebook. Yeah, it's just Joshua Kemble. Yeah, but it'd be fun to follow what you're doing. All right, so we have our boat. Okay, we got to start real loose here. Let's just start with like a shape. And you know what? I don't want to do this like sketchy nonsense. I think I need to just do confident lines. Okay. I'm going to try to just kind of be bold. So we're going to do like this ship. We're going to draw it like more boldly because I know how to draw. My brain is just, I'm having brain block today. So I was planning on like, I did like some research this morning, and then I was planning on kind of getting back to it, and something came up that kind of threw me off my game, to be honest. So now I'm trying to get my game back, and it is slow, and I don't know if my brain's like all mentally there. And I usually am like a no excuses kind of guy. Like so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to power through it. Power through the doubt and stuff. So again, just keep it real confident and simple. Okay. We have like the base of the boat here. Got like that going. got our ocean that's going to be relatively calm, you know. I actually think like the beauty of this shot, the shot itself is like pretty close to like where we want to be. So we'll just change that coastline once I get to it. But first I'm going to draw who I'm drawing. So I'm going to draw, we've got Elizabeth's brother, who's going to be kind of here. He's going to be wearing his hat. And I'm going to have him kind of here. I actually want him to kind of be in almost the same pose as the guy too. It's kind of nice. Okay, so we're going to have him here. He's got his mustache. And he's going to be in the clothes that I drew him in. Okay, good. Okay, we're going to just kind of get this guy worked out too. So I'm going to have this guy here. He's going to have his hand on the thing. We're going to get that hand in there. We're going to draw it with the costume. And actually, I need to have like his hat a little wider. Okay, and then we're going to have like that prow thing, whatever that thing's called, like a rudder, whatever. And I'm going to have him kind of lounging back in a similar pose as this dude, actually. So that's pretty much taken care of. So we've got that. I want him to be a little bit smaller and then a little bit more leaned back, because I do think there's like more gesture to like his movement. Okay, so that's dude 1. Now I'm going to draw guy 2, which is going to be a friend who's going to be sitting back, but I need them to be kind of in a different moment. So now I'm going to have like this guy who's going to be here. He's going to be wearing that little hat that this gentleman here is wearing. It's going to be the back of his head. He's going to be sort of hanging out. This will be like the boatman, really. And again, I'm going to be pretty loose with his pose. We're going to have him kind of, his arms. I like the idea of his arms being maybe a little lower. And we're going to do him seated like that. So maybe his hands like kind of gesturing there. Perfect. We're going to also do this just to make it clear that it's a boat. Oh, let's go back to the boat layer. Back to our boat layer. On the boat layer, I want kind of more of a thing where I'm going to draw like the rudder of the ship. Kind of connect down here. Okay, his other friends are going to be kind of like, it's hard to think here, but it's like his other friends are going to be like in the on the mast or whatever. Okay. Okay. I want another friend who's kind of lounging back. So there's going to be, let's see here. Okay. Have a guy kind of kicking back, like he's sitting back here. So he might be like kind of almost like arms back. Head forward. There we go. He's going to be wearing another one of those hats. Mustaching. And I think this guy's going to have like a higher waistcoat, but maybe his coat's open because he's going to be kind of relaxing. So I'm going to just draw him through the other figures. And I want him to like almost have like his arm out like that. Like, no, that's too startled. His arm will be, oh, I got it. He's going to be like kind of doing like his hand is up. Like, oh no, man. And he's going to be lounging. I think they had like really high-waisted pants. But I'm going to just kind of have some Oxfords or something. And this guy's maybe his like legs like that. No, I don't like that. I like this, where it's more casual. Cool. Okay, so now we have this guy who's going to be sort of here. I don't like that overlap, though, with the head. This is that compositional stuff that is really important. Because even if I have to cheat, it's like you don't want to have... Okay, I'm going to have to move that leg a little bit, but I think this is getting close. So it's like, I don't want to have a... There we go. Okay. I just don't want to have like a lot of tangents, you know, just making it like impossible to read. We're going to have this guy kind of chilling. I also want to make sure that I'm like kind of... It's got to be clear, even if this is rough. It's like I need to be clear that this is Robert. So I need those little details just... Good. That's clearer. Then we're going to have... I like the idea of the leg being a little higher too. Maybe I'm drawing on the wrong layer again. Okay, well that's fine. Okay, okay, we've got most of this worked out. Now I just need one last one. And I think that guy would be on like this side of the boat. This is going to be an interesting one. Okay, cool. I don't have anything. Oh, Philip said I put in a request on Facebook. I think okay. Let me accept that request, sir. Yay! Confirm. We're confirmed. Did I hit confirm? That should have worked. There we go. Confirmed, Phil. We're friends, and we are. I think you're right. I think we're friends on Instagram already, but that's making friends and taking names. That's what we do here. Okay, so we're gonna have like a little more detail on here too. Wait. Too fun to jump into the details. Gotta work out this last guy. He's gonna have another friend, and that friend's gonna be like chilling here. Okay, I like that idea. So I'm gonna visualize that friend. He's gonna be kind of like kicking back, like, and we're gonna see where that goes. And I like the idea of him having kind of one of those crazy haircuts. He's gonna have his bowler cap. I like this cap that's kind of half off. So I'm gonna do that. Let's see. And this guy's literally just gonna be like super chill. Like maybe his friend's just like, is he gonna be like, yeah, he'll be okay. I was gonna have his friend like laying back, but I think it's better if he's like kind of leaning. And his buddy will have a striped shirt. Striped outfit, high buttoned. Oh, I'm getting tight again. Keep it loose. Okay. His friend's gonna be like kind of casually, like one leg up. Yeah. That's right. One leg up. There we go. Oh. Let's do that again. One leg up and through. And this will be like the Oxford thing again. So we got those Oxford shoes. And this guy, this leg will be kind of more positioned very casually like that, like so. We're going to do that. Cool. Whew. We got him kind of there. So we're going to have this dude kind of hanging out here. Does that work? Does that get in the way? Like the front of the ship is the question. And then how do I make that happen? I like that. Okay. That's it. Now we're going to go to the ship layer. And then Philip said, woohoo. Yeah, I know. It's fun to make friends. Facebook friends. It is a fun thing. Yes. We're getting there, you guys. We are making progress. So this is a very like rough image, but it's like this is how it happens. Now I'm going to kind of position a lot of this stuff. So, okay, we got this off. And then we're going to turn off everything. Wait a second. Why am I turning off everything? Darn it. Got to find that boat again. Boat 12. Boat 12. There's boat 12. Okay. Good old boat 12. I remembered that. Okay. We're going to save. I'm going to basically make sure, okay, this is my boat layer. I do need to do So a little bit more detail on the boat. So let's work that out a little better. Okay. So now that we have our boat, let's kind of work out some of these finer details. I'm going to have like this go a little further over. I'm going to have like this a little more clearly in the water. I'm going to have this kind of stick out a little more. Ooh. And I'm going to add some mild details. Like there's going to be wood here. Like, my goodness. Going to be wood here. Wood here. And unfortunately, for everybody on this boat, they have a life preserver in the picture, but I don't know if they have a life preserver on this boat. So I think if they did, well, then again, to be honest, like it might have been, it's hard to know what caused it to sink, right? So I'm getting my tethers. And now we're just doing some waves, just getting a little bit of that sculpture of the waves. And then we're going to do a little more of the okay. Okay. And now I need to do what I was planning to do. Let's do this real quick. We're going to do, now we can turn off boat 12. Boat 12 done. Now we're going to basically, Philip said, your roughs are much cleaner and thoughtful than mine. When I start rough, it's almost illegible to everyone except me. Yeah, me too. I mean, like that was a rough. That was a thumb for me. I'm trying to do a little bit tighter, just so that there's a clearer picture of where I'm going and what the final is going to look like. I do need to look up Devon because that's where they're heading. I already have it. I just need to remember which one it is. Ah, okay. Devon is like I think we've got that like on my crazy map layer. Which one of you are Devon? Let's get there. That's Devon. So I'm going to kind of do a rough approximation. Let's kind of see a little bit of like where we're going to see in the background. So, okay. But what's great is like if you have all this stuff worked out, then it's really like, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I think it's like a little easier when it comes to finish because you have a lot of the stuff worked out. In theory. Okay, so we've got like, there's going to be like a cliff, but I want it to like look like it's off very far away. So maybe there's like, we see some of that cliffside stuff. Maybe there's a little bit of mountain. It does look like there's some potential like harbor here. So maybe we'll have like a little bit of a city. And then maybe, yeah, so this cove kind of goes away. It's going to be like a little coastline. Here's a lot of trees. Okay. Let's turn off Devon again. Okay, I think we're good. We have kind of like a rough path here, but it's getting clearer. Okay, so I'm gonna have like this sort of. Okay. Okay, here's what I wanted to do with this. I'm going to turn off that. I'm going to find where's that crazy thumbnail? Thumb. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to merge visible. Oh, no. Merge visible. There we go. Wow. That almost flattened the entire, that was crazy. If I had said okay on what I had accidentally pressed instead of merge visible, it'd be a very sad day. Okay. So now we've got like a pretty cool idea here. I want to, I think sequentially it's making sense too. Like, let me know your guys' thoughts, but I kind of think like if there's something I could do to kind of further clarify it, obviously I'm going to add like so right now, like the sun should be like kind of here almost like just to situate it. So, which I shouldn't be drawing on the white layer there. Okay. So I'm going to do, okay. I'm going to do like a real quick wash, but I want the sun to be here. Oh my goodness. Oh, I was on white. Okay, I want the sun to be relatively like here because I think that also creates like more of a pocket where like again, we're doing that like rule of thirds kind of thing, I think. So I'm going to have the sun there, and then I'm going to basically block out some of the shading. So light is coming from the other side. It should be super dark. Okay, we're just kind of loosely blocking in how we want how I want the shadowing to work. Okay. Okay, my lightest spot is going to be there. Now I'm going to come in with my lights a little bit. I hope this is kind of making sense. Like I'm trying to kind of work out my light sources, all of that stuff, you know? This is going to be like daytime, so I'm going to brighten it up a little bit too. I'm just trying to get a little more of like a clearer picture of what this is going to look like, you know? And again, this might be me like super overthinking it. We'll see as we go. And this is me just using like one, you know, pencil brush, and really like the finals are going to be very similar, just way tighter, you know, like, but it's just like that loose kind of pencil-y feel is definitely going to be present in the final as well, but just not quite as loose, you know? So there we go. We're going to save. I'm going to merge visible without this. Merge visible. I'm going to turn this on again. I'm going to hit save. And then we're going to get to that thumbnail. So the last thing before I finish this is going to be the final part, which is here. We first are actually, I need a caption that's going to say Torquay, England. But I kind of want this to be, and let's also see, did I somehow delete the, oh, I need to view guides. Extras. That was good that I did the view extras because technically I need to keep crap in that safe area, which is good because that'll buy us a little more space. So when it comes to final, it's like I'm going to have a real clear vision. That's the advantage of this, you know? Okay. So far, I also hope it's obvious that, and maybe I'm not making it obvious enough, but it's like my visual line. I'll just draw it real quick. I'm trying to get people, like, you're going to start here. You're going to kind of go like that. Or technically just zip, zip, zip. So hopefully I've made that pretty clear where I have like that leading down. His arms leading you here. This is leading you here. This is leading you up to here. So hopefully that works sequentially. I'll be right back. I'm going to take a break and then like a 5-second break, refill my coffee and finish this page. And hopefully have time to work out, even if it's at like 1 a.m. And maybe take a power nap and then hit it again. I'm excited though. I think we're getting there. All right. I will be back in about 2 seconds again. And while I'm doing this, just let me know if you guys are watching. Feel free to chime in the chats. If you're just kind of listening and stuff, no pressure either. And also just letting you know, a good way to support, obviously, what I'm doing, as cheesy as it is I do take super chats. Again, no pressure, but it's, you know, it's fun to do. And I think that's about it for now. I'll be right back in about 20 seconds. So I don't even know if I need to say that, but still, I like to be pretty transparent with my process. So yeah, I'll be right back. Philip said, I'm back, by the way. Philip said, lighting was always a tricky thing for me. My background was animation layout, and I was used to working in line drawings. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know if I could, like, here's the thing. I'm a slower artist than a lot of animators. And so I can get the same result as a lot of cartoonists, but it takes me like 40 times as long, which is why this is such a challenge, because I obviously am going to have to speed up my process of thumbnails if I'm going to have my finals. But I think as I go and get in the zone, I think it'll be possible. But I could be the guy in like the major leagues who's just like, I don't know. We'll see. I have worked out a lot of stuff though here. It's like I have a rough idea of like what the boat's going to look like, what the costumes are going to be. And I think like I'm in a pretty good setting to like take these things to finish. Heck, I even feel like a lot of this stuff is like groundwork for a finished piece. So like I could literally lighten this and then take a lot of this to finish, which is cool. But I envy people in animation because I think they're like 50 times faster than me. I come from like an illustration background, so it's like, although I will say there's some stuff I can do really quick, but yeah, we'll have to kind of see how this goes. Philip said, "Oh, that was my issue too. I was horribly slow. Speed just comes with a lot of practice and deadline pressure." Yeah, it's weird when I'm in house. I can do like 60 designs, or not, 60 is an exaggeration, 40 designs a day, like simple designs. So I can work pretty quick, and deadline pressure is definitely going to pile up. But I also have to get used to this process, which is a little different. Okay. Oh, I forgot the seagulls. Okay, we're going to include some seagulls here, which will tie in later. So we're going to have some seagulls. Oh, seagulls in the background, just very subtly. Okay. Okay. So this last bit, I still have to work out. I don't think I liked the route I was going, but I need to see the top of the ship, and I think I have at least an indication of what that looks like. So now we have to find the ships again. So it's boat top. Okay, that was literally the top of the boat, but not the mast. I know I had a side view that was like the mast. I just have to find it. That's a good side view, but that's not it. I was really fortunate to find this boat. That wasn't it. That was the first ship we found that was probably more likely to be the ship. It was just so undramatic that we decided, as I was like doing research, I should use a racing yacht from that time period. Did I already? Oh, the ship is there. Okay, that's what I need. So let's see. I need this. Okay. We are going to grab this. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to copy this. That gives me an indication of the sail. Then we are going to paste it and increase the height so we get a better view. And it's going to have, I think we almost have to have it. So there's a couple routes I could go. Philip, maybe you can chime in on this. Maybe I should work this out looser. So we could have the bottom of this page be full bleed and just have the mast, right? Like underwater. as just a flat image. That I think is going to be hard to read. And have the mast. Okay, we can have the mast of the ship just like that. And then have some seagulls flying over it. And have it like so. Or we could have it go full bleed. I like this, actually. I like this direction. I think I might have been overthinking. Okay, I need my seagulls, too. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that would read the best. Okay. So we want to convey that the ship is sunk and that you're just seeing the masts sticking out of the water. I think that's the route. Hopefully I'm not crazy in that sense. Okay, so here we go. We're going to have a little bit of the mast, just a little bit. I want it to be a little bigger so it's clearer that it's underwater, because that could also look like an aerial shot of the boat. I want it to be really clear. This is just like the wooden part of the mast. Yeah, there's a huge passage of time, but it's supposed to be kind of like a startling jump. It's at the top there. There's like a kind of metallic thing. The bottom of the hull sticking out. That's true.
Yeah, just take points or something.
Hold on a second. I like that idea. Thomas Adams said the boat upside down with the keel above the water. But then okay. Let me see. Oh, I really love that idea. then broken boat parts around it. Yeah, I think that, I hate to say it, I'm going to change the script a bit. Because like the mast sticking out didn't make a lot of sense to me to begin with. And then just visually, just trying to like compositionally work it out, it's just not, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm going to have this just as a reference because I want to see like a ship keel. And I think I need to have, but I like the idea of the seagulls too, because I want it to be calm waters. That's the thing. We're trying to leave it a little mysterious as to what happened because of the fact that like no one really knows like what happened, like how they, like, was it a squall, like anything like that. Do you think upside down would work, right? And I'm kind of thinking something equivalent to this, but a lot smaller scale, obviously. I mean, my goodness, it's not a massive ship. But yeah, that's the catch, is like we have no idea what caused the ship to go down. So we want to leave it a little mysterious, so that you're kind of left in the same position that Elizabeth Barrett Browning was, where you're like, what would cause, like, so we want the ocean to still be calm. I like that idea. I need to find some waves real quick just to give like a perspective on it. Okay, that's pretty good too. Okay. I like that angle. So we're gonna do some waves kind of equivalent to that. I agree, like I think Philip made a really good point about if I have it full bleed, that's gonna, like at the bottom of the page, that's gonna draw the reader's eye immediately to the bottom of the page. I don't want to kind of give it away, so let's do this again. Thank you, Thomas. That was just really nice. Yeah. So I'm going to have, I think I'm going to have it be like it's, okay, we're going to do this full bore. Okay. I think I've got a clear idea. Thank you guys. Like, this is one of the reasons I like doing the streams too, is like, it can kind of be like art school where it's like, hey, I don't know what I'm going to do on this. And then like somebody gives, like Thomas, you gave a really good suggestion there. I appreciate it. We'll see if it works. And of course, I'm not saying if it doesn't work, that may not be your fault. It might be like more of just me adequately depicting it, right? But I'm gonna kind of give it a shot. So I like the idea of having the hull. I actually do want to have it be like, I mean, we have like the rudder or whatever. And we're going to kind of have it almost like as if, let's see, do we want it from the side like that? That is easier to read. I was going to turn it around, but then it looks kind of like a whale or something. So it would be good. Ooh, oh my gosh, brilliant. I just thought of something. That's going to make it a million times clearer. You guys are amazing, I want to say. You guys are just amazing, because that's a good solution. I want to make sure it's kind of matching the ship that we were drawing before too. Okay. But seriously, there was one thing I remembered that we found out when I was researching. So what we're going to do to clarify everything about this is we're going to put the boat name on the back of the boat. So it'll be upside down in this case. And then we're going to have the waves. This is going to be really much smaller too. I'm just drawing it big right now. The waves around it. Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for the advice. Thomas said, or Philip said, I'm not experienced in comic book layout. I'm learning here as well. Hey, we're all learning. I think like half of doing art, you know, like you learn, I mean, you know, Philip, I think you were saying you did like layout for animation and stuff. Just like an animation, like, you know, if like somebody who's like sitting next to you is like, hey, what if you did like this angle? And they're right. There's literally no benefit of being like cocky or having pride. It's like, just be like, yeah, dude, good. Because again, we all benefit from feedback. It's like, I think no matter, you know, I've done hundreds of comic pages and I've never had to draw. In fact, even at my work, I think this might be the first time I've drawn a boat being capsized. and like, so yeah, so like, yeah, I think that's part of learning is you just like listen to other people's, you know, things. I'm gonna just have like some stray kind of stuff. Maybe like a board, a couple boards. You know what I'm gonna have? Dude. I know what'll sell it. We need to turn off those pictures that I pulled in. So I'm gonna see if I can find them. Where are those ones that I just dragged in? I didn't label them or anything. Oh man, you guys are I can't even say how amazing you guys are. I know I'm being corny, but it's like that works. Okay, here's the catch. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I didn't think of this. Huh? What do you guys think? Does that sell it? I think that's impactful. What do you think, Thomas? What do you think, Philip? And Thomas, I appreciate you not just being a lurker. I appreciate you chiming in because you helped me out there a lot. Dude, that's impact. I feel good about that. I'm gonna sell that. Yeah, Corey was saying, what about his hat floating by itself? That would be cool. I just you're still you just think maybe his hat blew off, you know? So it's got to show the ship aftermath, but again, you would have no idea. You know, there's still some mystery to it. I don't know, Corey. Like, Corey, Corey's somebody I get feedback from all the time. What do you think, dude? That's the catch, Philip. Like, this is the part. I know it's weird, but it's intentionally ambiguous. Like, they don't know. He went out like. So basically, what they do know is that, like, you know, Elizabeth Barrett Browning's brother, and now I'm going to blank out on his name. Let me get it again. It's Edward Barrett. He goes out on a friend's boat. They know the name of the boat. I actually wrote it down here. We figured that out, and we're going to add that last minute once I have this kind of worked out. Oh, and I just made a mistake here. They know the name of the boat. They know the friends that he went with. He went with 3 other friends. And they went sailing, and it was like a bright, beautiful, sunny day. There was like no bad weather. And then their boat just disappeared, and then 3 bodies washed up on the shore weeks later. So like there was a long period of time where they didn't even know the boat was down because nobody knew there was like a squall. And so I think people theorize now that there was a squall, but like no one knows. And it used to haunt Elizabeth a lot. And that's why it's so important to like not like again, I don't want to make that mistake of being like, as a visual communicator, it's like I need to clearly be communicating. And I know it's a cop out sometimes when people are like, it's intentionally ambiguous. But like in this case, because the whole story revolves around Elizabeth searching for answers about her brother and seeking contact with him, it's like that's where it's like I think it's important to not let people know what happened, because Elizabeth didn't happen, nor do we know. And that's kind of like the coolest thing about this mysterious story. But I don't know if I'm like, I want to be clear and make sure it's intentional. Like if it's seeming unintentional, then I'm failing. But I do think this might be the answer. It might have been a rogue wave. It might have been a calm sea. It might have been like that you know, they might have piloted just badly. It could have just been really bad boating. It could have been a lot of things, and that's why we want to kind of leave it. I love that. I love this solution. Now I'm like in love with the solution, so I'm like, I hope I'm not being biased to it though. I'd love to hear Corey's take on it, you know, because I do think the whole just makes it way clearer. If it was just mysterious, or not the whole, whatever this is. But if it, I think if it's the mast, it's just visually hard to. I think historically it was the mast. I think somebody found saw the mast sticking out of the water like weeks later. But I think for this, it was like, I need to focus for a second. There is text, and I think the text is nice. This is where like there will be text in a second, but the text is ambiguous too, where it's going to be it's just going to say the location and the date. Or you just send a question mark. I don't understand. But yeah, there's a lot of speculation about it. I think it sent Elizabeth down a path that the whole book is about. But again, if you were to look at this and be confused that the boat sank, then I'm failing at my job. So that the boat capsized or whatever. It's like, yeah. So if you looked at this page with like no text right now, like you're seeing it, does this leave ambiguity? Or is it clear? Like if I didn't tell you anything about it, would you guys know the boat sank? Maybe I'll have to show it to Mai real quick. I just want to make sure. that would be clear if you read this for like the first time. No?
What?
So like, is this clear as a sequence? By the way, I'm going to add the ship name here, and then it'll be upside down here.
Are they struggling here?
No, they're relaxed and enjoying their drive. I mean, can you tell what happened to the ship?
Yes.
Okay. And you can tell they're kind of out strolling and like they're chilling and relaxing. I mean, obviously it'll be a little clearer.
Because of this, I assume that they were fighting
Nope.
the waves or something, but
They're not going to be in this panel. There's no sequence to it, but it's like as long as you can tell the ship's up and they're on it, and then like the next one they're sunk, it's done.
yeah.
Cool. Okay. Sorry. I know it's intentionally confusing, which is a little hard. Okay. Philip said, my first impression is that something suddenly mysteriously knocked it over. Okay, good. that's what we're hoping for. Okay. This is going to be really like that's the hard sell. That was like the big conversation I had to have just to clarify that that's like what we want, you know. But it does make sense because you're trying to get the there's going to be an air of mystery that's going to follow the entire book about this. So although the next sequence is going to show. Okay, cool. Yeah, Corey was saying, you'd know it sank. It's a jarring jump. It's meant to be a jarring jump. So, and then Corey said maybe some overlapping close-up panels to show hands on ropes and knots and things to give it a more montage feel. Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be a jarring jump, so it like you aren't supposed to know the sequence. So it's like initially I was thinking that too. That's my gut instinct as a cartoonist, is like to show the in between, like show the action of it happening, not just the before and after. You need the middle, but that's I guess that's not where we want to go. But as long as it's clear in what it's not being clear about. Okay. This is the final page. And we're going to do, I'm just trying to see. Okay, cool. Okay. Good. There was another thing I need to check. Oh my gosh, this is taking forever. Okay. If it's not sequential, it needs to be a less clear layout of the panels. But it is sequential, except it's just skipping a middle. But I do think there's a way to put a clear gap. So I hear what you're saying, Corey, and I agree. And I think the catch is, okay, so what I was about to add the type. I think I have a solution because I get what you're saying. Let me not argue with it and agree with you on it because I do see what you're saying. Why is this not working? Okay, original pitch. That's what I needed. I just want to see how I went about. Okay, that was it. Okay. There is a break that's natural in the script where it says caption, Torquay, England, 1840, and then it shows the ship. So I think, Corey, to solve your issue. No, it is sequential. It's just skipping a step in the sequence. That's the part that's weird. Does that make sense? It probably sounds weird because it's weird to me, but I kind of get it. It's skipping a step in the how it happened. So it's going from like, it's a calm day, They're all sailing. They're all enjoying themselves at sea. But here's how we're going to solve that, because I agree with you, Corey. I think this will solve it. Let's see if it solves it. The other catch is that they might just change the script because this doesn't make sense. But I do get what she's going for, because she wants people emotionally. I don't know. We'll see. I kind of think it's supposed to be jarring and a little weird. And you're kind of like, how did the boat just suddenly flip? Because there's no showing the middle. Okay, now I've got it. Now it's going to have. This is the other thing. I need to have my rough. This is what the finals look like on these. But I need to have my rough kind of say this. Okay. Corey said, gotcha, I must have heard wrong. I'm distractedly listening. No, I don't think you heard wrong. I think I've been a little confusing in my... I'm kind of thinking out loud. So sometimes when I'm thinking out loud, like what I'm thinking isn't making a lot of sense. But I actually hear... I think you have a really valid point. So I'm thinking this is going to be where it says... It's going to say... Tour... Okay. Tour. And this is even filler type, you know. I'm going to obviously do a better job when I got time. Q. I always forget what these weird cues look like. Thank you guys for all the feedback, too. It's really helping. Oh, come on. No. I hate that. I don't know if you guys have that. Every once in a while, I accidentally tap something that sticks. I think it's like a key or something that sticks, and then my... Okay, and this is going to be 1840. Better idea. It's also just too much of a close-up. It's going to make it like... Again, we're kind of working in just... Trying to work out a hard sequence here. So I wanted a lot of these to be like on a scroll, but I think this should be, let's do this. And let's do this. Closer. There we go. Now I'm hearing you. I kind of like what you're saying there, Corey. I still can't do the close-ups though that show the event or like really indicate too much of the event, because again, like she wants to kind of keep it ambiguous. That's the catch. So let's see here. And I have some freedom here, but I kind of think I see what she's saying. But I like the idea that you're talking about, Corey, where this first one, okay. Now I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you, man. All right. Because now I think I get what you're saying. It's like the emotional impact too could be a lot stronger. So let's see. I'm going to have this here. This is why thumbnails are so great. And this here. Oh, come on. Where's my Torque? Where's my Torque? There we go. I feel bad that I don't know how to pronounce like half of these places. Okay. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Gonna make a call here, you guys. That I think is actually pretty good. And it came out of something Corey was saying. And at this point, I'm kind of thinking that'll do it. I also agree, I think, with what Thomas is talking about, which is let's kind of make it almost like a subtle indicator that something's different here. And don't get me wrong, there's more to this sequence, by the way. So don't worry. We're not entirely abandoning all hope for those who enter here. There's a little more to the sequence on the next page, so it's got like an and then a little more clarity. Okay. Now I'm hoping I'm not just complicating it more. Okay. Okay. I'm going to move that down. We're going to have this come out here. And then we're going to add a little more kind of what's going on. I think this is the perfect solution, what's coming up here, I think. And I'm pretty darn happy with it, I think. Again. But I could be totally crazy. But I feel like I have to make a call here because these are thumbs. Okay, so okay. I think I'm going to do the hat a little more clearly. Philip said, hey, I think I'm going to have to call it a night. It's 3:30 my time. And he said, but it's been fun drawing with you tonight. Well, it's been fun having you. And honestly, you've been really helpful in sort of helping me work out, I think, this rough page. So, Philip, have a good night, man. Thomas, I like the idea of the filigree with the ripped edge. Kind of feeling like I might be overthinking this now. So this may be my best bet here. a little concerned though, it might be a little less clear. Ah. I've got it. Darn it, you guys are amazing. That's a cool. Okay.
There we go.
All right, guys. I'm gonna call it. I'm happy with that. Maybe I'll change my mind once I've like done my workout, had a shower, and then can kind of revisit. But I'm happy with that for the rough page 3. I kind of thought of it when Corey was talking about the bookends, and I'm kind of digging it. So I feel like that's, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like that's working. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you to everybody who's like watched this live and kind of hung out in the chats and helped me kind of work out that page. I'm gonna go ahead and let's go back to our that was my last thumbnail that I was working on, but let's go back to the full camera. So thanks to everybody who's hung out and helped me kind of resolve and figure out that page. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm going to get to page 2 really shortly, and I'll probably show a little more of the script too. So if you haven't yet, make sure you have picked up a copy of 2 Stories. It's my graphic novel about faith and mental illness. It's hand lettered, hand inked, and then handed to you in print. And you can get it. It talks about my journey dealing with depression and growing up as a total nerd, and the weirdness of going to Christian schools at a young age. So that's this book. That you can get on Amazon. Go buy it. And then also make sure that you've asked your local bookstore to order Jacob's Apartment, my graphic novel. That's done in the vein of like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind or Ghost World. It's a good slice of life book. It's coming out in June 2nd from Graphic Mundi. And make sure you're subscribed. You've hit that bell, all of that fun stuff, so you get notifications when I'm about to go live. If you're watching this from Twitch, make sure you're following me. My main hub is kind of YouTube, but at the same time, I have noticed a few people on Twitch watching, and so again, make sure you hit that follow button. All right, guys, have a good night, and I really I can't thank you guys enough for your feedback, and it's just incredibly exciting and helpful. And I will talk to you guys I'm probably going to be back at it in about 30 minutes. So keep an eye open if you're still up. All right. With that being said, I'm going to get going, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Thanks, and have a good night. And I hope you guys are equally having some fun being creative. All right.